Well, hello, my brothers and sisters. How are you all doing tonight? Great show on Scarab's channel tonight. Let me tell you what. Let me move this chair a little forward, get it a little bit more comfortable. Hey, QC, good to see you. Yeah, it was a good show tonight. Hey, Salted, good to see you. Hi, Ms. Wright. Hey, Cole. QC Lady, of course. What up, Crying Hippie? Good to see you. Hey, Sherry. Emmanuel. Of course, the party puppy, i.e., Crazy Kitty. Hi, Terry. How you doing tonight? Good to see you all joining us. And yeah, we go live and we congregate together Sunday night through Friday night. I start the pre-show like what you just saw. Thank you, sister in Christ. Start the pre-show at 9:30, and I come up live and we congregate to speak away at 9:45. But on Saturday, it's a little later for the reason being is I join Scarab's after hours show. So that's why we're here late tonight, and we're going to be here up all night. And I'm going to tell you what, last night we had some absolutely awesome testimonies given, and I say we continue that tonight. The phone is open. You see the number scrolling across. Call in and give your testimony. Hey, K-Lair. Glad you could join us. Fantastic. Awesome. The puppy is in the house. Oh, yeah. Party's here. It was funny. I was kind of practicing because, well, I shouldn't say practicing. I was trying to get in to call into Scarab's show, and when he says, "What's the password?" I was going to be like, "It's after hours, baby." Hey, when you got my history, you learn how to speak drunk. So yeah, hello, who are we speaking to?
You're speaking to Jason Mitchell.
All right, how you doing, Jason? Let me bring this down. I bring my camera down. My camera is connected to the mic, so I bring it down so everybody can hear what you're saying. Let me do something real quick.
All right, you can use me as a guinea pig. That's fine.
All right, there we go. No, I was just shutting my camera off so that they don't have to see. All right, the floor is all yours, brother. How you doing tonight?
I'm actually doing pretty good.
It's not night anymore, it's morning.
Yeah, how you doing this morning? Let's rephrase that.
I have a story to share with everybody that's here.
The floor is open and it's all yours, brother.
Oh, it's not all mine, but I'll accept the invitation. I guess it was August. My wife's in the hospital. She fell down, broke her hip, and she's going in for surgery. And I'm watching a video that Dan put out Rachel don't man animals.
Yes.
Because Debbie's mom loves all these new animals that everybody was finding for a while, and now all that's just disappeared. But at the time, we're sitting there watching this video, and all of a sudden, Debbie's mom just grabs a hold of my arm and puts a death grip on me. On my arm, I'm going, what's wrong? And then I felt it. I kept my mouth shut. I wanted her to describe what she was feeling. It took about a minute for it to go away.
Okay.
And when she finally let go of my arm, and I finally got her calm down to describe what happened, it scared her so bad. Because I know it wasn't Dan's video. I mean, the blobfish is scary enough, but that's not what did it to her. She said she felt the entire world going up and down. She said it felt like her brain was bouncing up and down inside her skull. And I'm going, I felt that too. You know what? Something changed. She goes, what do you mean something changed? I said, Mom, we have spent the last days in this hospital watching Mandela Effect videos. Something just changed. You just felt a dimensional shift. Welcome to my reality. She looked at me and she goes, so now I'm going to start seeing things different. I said, yes, you've just been awakened. I'll be darned if 4 hours later she had to go home, open up her Bible, and goes, where's the lion?
Yeah, I experience this on a regular basis. I mean, when I say regular, I really mean regular. I start to hear a ringing in my ears, and right after I hear that ringing, I feel this wave of energy go through me. And what you just described, I'm like, that's a good description of what I feel. It's amazing. And I know my first reaction is they changed something, you know?
Yeah, it's like, okay, what are they changing now? What's new on the table? What should I be looking for? And I'm looking at everything. I mean, I'm going through Walmart taking pictures of stuff on the shelves just because it's going to change. We work for Walmart. You understand? We work for change. Yeah, like Debbie said, Walmart loves change. This is my wife you hear in the background. I'm not sure. I mean, I got a massive time lag between what's on the screen and what's in the chat room. It's kind of goofy.
Yeah. Well, what you're seeing is what's going on in the live chat. When you look at the live chat, when you look at the live stream, because I use the OBS software, there's like a 3 to 4 second delay between what they're typing and when it shows up in the screen. So you understand.
Right now, I got Sherry Stein on there right now saying no. Paula J are close friends. Then I got Sister in Christ. She's actually got a good channel. I watched a few of her videos. They're pretty good.
Yes, she does.
I
Absolutely.
give a shout out to you. Party Puppy, he's got a really good channel. He's got a lot of good music on his channel. It's really cool. I thought you were talking to Party Puppy. No, I'm not talking to Party Puppy. I'm talking to Paul. Oh. Sorry, Debbie. Right idea, wrong channel. But I actually am talking to Party Puppy if I can get my hands on my keyboard and type into the keyboard. Hey, Party Puppy. Hey, Sultan Cedar.
Yeah, see, that's the one thing that I do in my channel. And absolutely come on back and come join us. We're here Sunday night through Friday night. I start the pre-show at 9:30, and I come on live at 9:45, and I heavily interact with the live chat. So as they're asking questions and they're speaking, I'm part of that because I don't lead this thing. I'm just the host, you know. I'm part of it, and having like you call in tonight is just so awesome, man. You know, and last night everybody was giving their testimonies as to how they came to Christ, and I got a question to you. How did you come to Christ?
How did I come to Christ? I was raised Baptist. I've always believed in Jesus. But then I fell into some really bad, nasty shit. Pardon my French. I got in drugs. I got in alcohol really heavily. I still drink, but nowhere near as bad as I did. And the drugs are the worst of it. And then one night I tried to take my life, and I almost succeeded. And I took my hat off, and I was going to put my head in the noose. So I had a rope hanging in the tree. I had the ladder. I took my hat off to put my head in the noose, and I said, what am I doing? And right at that moment, I came back. He reached down and he grabbed me off that ladder and said, no, you're not. Tell him about the imaginary frog. You'll get a kick out of the imaginary frog. Oh, my God.
Brother, the floor is yours, and I hear a woman in the background telling you, and I've learned this much. There's three terms, three two-word terms that you're supposed to use for a successful relationship. Number one is yes, dear, you're right, and I'm sorry. And if you know those three terms, you'll always have a perfect relationship. So she told you what to say, what to tell us. You're supposed to say, yes, dear, you're right. And tell us.
Well, I'm going with the yes, dear, you're right.
Right.
Tell them about Okay. Here I am. This is right after my suicide attempt. They got me on all these medicines. The deal with schizophrenia that I was going through because of the drugs I was on. Because, crack cocaine will actually make you schizophrenic, and it takes a long time to get over it.
Yes.
It takes years. Well, here I am. I'm walking around Cedar Hill, Missouri, which is about 30 minutes south of St. Louis on Highway 30.
Okay.
Well, I'm walking around Cedar Hill talking to an imaginary frog I have in my hand about astrophysics, and I understand reactionary theory better than most people because this frog knew his shit. I mean, this was the Stephen Hawking's of imaginary frogs. This frog knew his shit. I mean, if this frog was real, he'd have Elon Musk out of a job. Which is something else I want to bring up. Zuma was a successful mission. They're saying it failed just to keep what they put up there in space secret.
Yeah. We'll keep
Everybody
on, brother.
in the chat room, you'll have to forgive me. I am not keeping up with the pace.
Hey, what they want to hear is your testimony, so continue on. Don't worry about what they're saying. Just talk away, man.
Well, Salted Peter's got a bad habit of bringing up good points right in the middle of somebody talking.
Yeah.
And that can be going into something.
When Jimmy gets on a rant, he never quits.
And here's one I want to put to everybody here. When you feel what I'm calling dimensional shift, what's the primary sensation you feel?
In my case, like I said, it starts with a ringing in the ear, and when I hear that ring, it's a certain tone. I mean, I got ringing in the ears that happens on a, we all do, but it's a certain tone, and when I hear that tone, I'm not joking about this. I literally put my hands down on the couch, and I hold on to, on the side there and grab a hold, because I know I can feel it. And there's this wave of energy that comes through, and it's like almost a shaking. I can't explain it unless you know what I'm talking about. For those that have experienced this, you feel this. It's like a wave of energy that goes through you, and it's almost like there's a shaking, like the world's shaking for a moment, And it's not only in my mind.
It feels like an earthquake.
Yes, it does. It's not only in my mind, but it's in my whole body. I feel this. And when it goes through, immediately my first thought is they changed something. Something happened. They did a connection, and there's been a change in the subatomic world, and they've destroyed certain subatomic particles through particle entanglement. There's been a change. Now I look to see.
You're one of the unfortunates. Like, you're like me. You're like Debbie's mom. You're one of the unfortunates. You can feel it. Now, my roommate Bill, he's being gracious enough to let us stay in this house. He doesn't feel it. He doesn't see this entire thing going on. He has no clue. And everything in this house is so many dollars. It's not funny. But when you feel that, you're feeling a dimensional shift.
Is that your wife or your girlfriend on the? Is that your wife or your girlfriend in the background?
That's my wife.
Yeah.
Tell her to step up and talk right beside you, because she's part of this phone call. Absolutely.
Come on, Deb. You're part of the broadcast. You're part of the broadcast, Deb. Come on.
Come on, Deb. Join in. I want to hear your voice too. I want to hear your opinions and what you feel and what you think.
He thinks we're all nuts.
Come on, Deb. Get up. Come on. Come on, testify.
Everybody's yelling. Come on, Deb. Come on, Deb. Welcome, Debbie. So come on, girl.
They're calling for you.
He thinks we're all... Well, you've got to turn the phone around. He thinks we're all nuts. We're crazy. Conspiracy theory type thing. He doesn't believe in the whole thing. I think he's just being a turtle and hiding in his shell.
That is a really good way to explain that. People that are inside their shell, they pull their heads in, their arms in, and they're in their shell, and they don't see the changes, That was a really good way to explain that. Thank you, Deb. I appreciate that. That was cool.
And by the way, this is the very first time Debbie's had any interaction whatsoever with the Mandela community.
Oh, really?
Yes, this is her very first time.
Now, here's a question for both of you. What was your first experience with the changes? What woke you up? What did you see that went, wow, something's wrong?
Okay.
Something's wrong with the world. People are weird.
Yes.
Okay, the first thing for me was...
I thought I was weird. But no, it's everybody around me that's weird.
The first change for me was that island is off the side of Australia disappeared. You can see evidence of it in the wave media. But that island disappeared, and I'm going, wait a minute. That was the first thing, but I got to tell you, I got to be honest, the first thing that introduced me to the Mandela effect was Photo Helix's video. We're going to go for a bicycle ride.
Oh, Photo woke a lot of people up. He really did.
Yes, he did. He woke me up. He's the one that actually got me involved in this. And this year, I'm going to start putting out videos
How to fall down?
Yeah, I'm going to put out videos on how to fall down. Your floor's your best friend. It's guaranteed to catch you when you fall.
Yeah. So Deb, what was your first experience? You went, wow, something's wrong. I love your laugh. That's awesome. Makes me smile. See, now in my case.
Oh wow! Come on, Deb. What was your first one that said, "Okay, something's wrong"? What's the first change you noticed?
About what?
About
now,
the world.
You gotta understand.
The changes to the world, the Mandela effect.
Well, I'll tell you right now, she called bullshit on Captain Morgan's.
Yeah, I did. No, that wasn't the first, though. Grasshoppers in January.
Okay.
Grasshoppers in January? We're going to start with grasshoppers? You know we got grasshoppers the size of chihuahuas now?
Yeah, that's what I'm hearing. It's like, oh my God, you know?
No. Grasshoppers are supposed to go into their stage and become butterflies or moths or something. But in January, we had grasshoppers jumping around.
Yeah, we're in Missouri. It's 0 degrees outside, and there's grasshoppers out there jumping around in the yard going haywire. I'm like, what is this?
Where are you in Missouri?
We're 30 minutes south of St. Louis.
Okay. You know, my first experience with the Mandela effect had nothing to do with the internet. I didn't even know anything about what was going on. I went to the grocery store and I was doing my grocery shopping for the week, and I was going through the aisles, and I was looking at different products, and I'm like, when did they change the product, the name of the product? This is wrong. And I went home and I did some Googling, and I'm like, as far as what I saw and everything that I researched, it's like, no, it's always been this. There was never a change. And I was like, wait a second. This is wrong. And I didn't understand. I literally thought I was going nuts because I was remembering.
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean.
I hate when they do that.
Oh, I thought I was going nuts. I didn't I'm like, and then I ran into Photo Helix's video he did back in 2015. And he was talking about changes in scripture. And I went to my Bible and I'm looking at it and I'm like, this guy's not joking. This really changed. Because now I got a video that I have on my main channel, my Paul Adams channel, that I do my story. And part of that, and last night we did testimony night, and during that testimony, I shared that video for everyone to see. I was not a nice guy. I was the one that your parents said stay away from him. You know what I mean? And
mean guy.
yeah, I literally ended up going to prison. I literally ended up going to state prison and got locked up. And when you get first locked up in state prison in Pennsylvania, you go through what's called classification, and you spend anywhere from 9 to 16 months. In my case, it was 11 months, where you're locked up 22 hours a day. You get out to walk in the yard for an hour. You get time out for a shower, and you get time out for your meals, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Other than that,
yeah, in my state it's called diagnostics.
Diagnostics.
And it's 23 hours lockdown.
So you know exactly what I'm talking about. Well, my mother.
Yes, I do.
My mother went to the bookstore, the Bible bookstore, and she bought a King James Bible, and she bought a Strong's Exhaustive Concordance, and a couple of books dealing with original Greek and Hebrew, and had it sent to me. So in my 22 hours a day that I was locked up, I spent all my time doing nothing but verse by verse, word by word, every part of the Bible from the beginning to the end, studying this and writing it down in a notebook. And every night that I got done writing this down, I would rip it out and I would put it in a letter and I would mail it to my mother. So I got extensive. I did this 4 different times through the Bible, and I have extensive research and reading in scripture on this. So when I go through the Bible, when I read it now, I see the changes and I'm like, oh my God, come on. I know what it said because I went through this 4 different times. And when I saw Photo's first video, I was like, oh, this guy's got to be shitting me. No way. So I went and opened my Bible and it's like, oh my God, no doubts. And everything in my life changed. And this is where the birth of this channel came from. And then Photo, when he saw my first videos that I did on the Mandela effect, the quantum effect, he was trying to get a hold of me. And him and I finally connected. And now we Skype on a regular basis. And when him and I Skype, we Skype for 6, 7, 8 hours at a shot. It's just like insane,
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so Photo and I know each other extremely well. As a matter of fact, I'm going to be going down to Tennessee, down to his place for a couple weeks here after spring breaks, And we're going to do a joint video. And the joint video we got to do is going to blow the world's mind away. We've been talking about privately.
Don't give too much information out. You got me.
Oh.
It's just the thing. I mean, you don't want Dan from Scarab to scoop y'all.
Oh, tell us about Pastor Dan.
I can't really tell them about Pastor Dan because Pastor Dan doesn't see the changes. He doesn't realize it. Everybody in the church does, but he doesn't.
Yeah, he does.
See, believe it or not, most of the people. Go ahead, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
What I was saying was, most of the people that come to this live stream that I do, everybody's awake. Everybody sees the changes, and every one of us, and you can look in the live stream. They'll all say this, and I'll say this to the live stream right now. Everybody that's here, do you feel isolated from your community because you see the changes? Do you? You know what I mean?
Yes.
And we congregate here, and Literally, I'm not joking. Everybody feels like they come here, see, yes, 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 yes. Um, but everybody feels like we're family here. Best way to explain it, you know? And
we are family. That's the last show you had. I put I had you post up my email. I didn't put my phone number up for everybody to see. You want me against doing it.
yeah, I saw
I
you.
don't mind if people call me. I don't mind. You're not fooling me because I know for a fact your dimension's different than mine.
Yeah.
Your memories are different than mine. I understand that. I am a part-time suicide counselor at Jefferson County.
That is so awesome, brother. That is so cool.
I was at Dan's channel doing in the chat room for a speakeasy. Well, I had to disappear for a while because I had a suicide call that I had to take care of.
You're doing the work of the Lord. And when someone calls, you've done what God called you to do. That is so awesome, man. I mean, that's just every single one of us that are here right now should be praying for Jason. That the Lord will strengthen him and give him the words to speak when people call in, that he takes care of what God called him to do. That is so awesome, brother, man. It really is. I think that is so cool.
I thank you. I thank you.
And
it's not like it's something I have to do all the time. I mean, I only get one call a week. But when I get them, it's like, holy shit. And this one was actually somebody I know. I know this person very well. I mean, they're a close personal friend of mine. And it's like, damn.
yeah, it was 2 years ago. My my brother put a gun in his mouth and pulled the trigger. So you understand why I see what you're doing as being so important. In my life, I see what you're doing as being a major, major work of the Lord. Because if you pull that trigger, if you do what you're going to do,
there's no coming back.
There's no coming back. You got it, brother, man. You know?
And look at the devastation you're going to leave behind for your family and your friends.
One of my best friends did that.
Yeah, one of Debbie's best friends did that. He put a Desert Eagle in his mouth and pulled the trigger.
Yeah, we put it up back in 10. With his brains out.
Good.
Yeah, see, my brother, he was out with his girlfriend, and they got into a big argument when they got home, and she decided she was leaving him, and he went up into his room, and he took out his 30 rifle, and he walked outside, and he put it in his mouth, and he pulled the trigger.
Damn.
You know what I mean?
I do actually, because I had the rope and I had the ladder, I had everything set up. I was good to go. I was gonna go. But something hit me. Something hit me. No, you're not done yet. So I went ahead and I called. The cops. I said, I don't know what to do. I got a rope in the tree. I got a noose in the tree and a ladder, and I don't know what to do. I'm gonna kill myself unless y'all figure out what to do to help get me help. And they got me help. And ever since then, now here I am. I'm the neighborhood counselor. Yeah.
Dude, that is so awesome, man. That is so awesome. You know, I remember 6 months before when my brother killed himself, he kind of mentioned it to me, but I didn't realize what that he was serious, and I made some comments, and I was like, I didn't realize that he was serious. You know what I mean? And when he did it,
Yeah, I do know.
for a year, I
know
was like,
exactly what you mean, and that's why I'm gonna tell everybody. I'm gonna tell everybody in the room. I'm gonna tell everybody in the room. If somebody even mentions something like that, watch them. Watch them. Pay attention to them. There's something going on in their life. You might not understand what's going on with their life. They might not even know. And in my case, I didn't have a clue. I didn't know. I was coming down from. I was coming down from major binge on crack cocaine and heroin. I was riding high, riding low. I was all over the map. So I had no idea what I was doing. But anytime anybody says anything remotely close to that, I mean, pay attention. Listen to them. You have to talk to them. If you talk to somebody who's in a situation where they act like they're wanting to commit suicide, 9 times out of 10, just talking to them will get them the help they need. But there is that 1 time out of 10 where there's nothing you can do, and they're just going to do it anyway.
Over my life, there's been times when I'm like, I'll just be better off dead. And I said that, but I didn't mean it. You know what I mean? I was being sarcastic when I said that. But what I didn't realize is there are those people, when they start talking about that they're not being sarcastic. They really mean it. And I didn't realize that. And for a year after my brother killed himself, dude, I got to tell you, I beat myself up over and over and over again in my mind, in my heart, because I'm like, he told me and he told me and he told me, but I didn't hear it. I wasn't listening. And I felt so awful about that, until I started speaking.
Yeah, it's really hard to live with whenever a situation like that happens. It's extremely hard to live with.
I spoke to people. I actually went to counseling about that, to speak to people, because I felt so guilty, that if I would have actually been listening, and I was so heartbroken because I didn't hear what he was actually saying, and they actually helped me through understanding, where I was at that point and where I am today. You know what I mean?
Yes, I do. But I'm going to bring up another point. There's a difference between hearing and understanding.
Yes, you got it, man.
And there's a huge gap there. And even me being a counselor, even I have a hard time sometimes. And I have to make the call as to whether or not I'm going to send the police to this guy's location or not. Tonight, I had to send the cops. The next call I get, I might not.
Yeah.
And I hate calling the cops and queuing the cops up, sending on somebody, because I've been arrested too many times. But sometimes you just have to in order to save somebody's life. I mean, I could be in jail tomorrow. I don't care. I save a life today, go to jail tomorrow, it's all good.
It's like when Photo and I talk on the phone and when we Skype, we always end our calls or our Skypes with, God willing, we'll talk again here shortly. And the reason being is we're only guaranteed our next breath. We're not guaranteed tomorrow, you know. Um, Not saying that you're going to put a gun to your head or you're going to take some poison, but not a single one of us are guaranteed that tonight when I end this live stream and I go to bed, I'm not going to have a heart attack and die. You know what I mean? Every hair on my head is numbered. So are the days of my life. When God has already predestined when I'm going to come home, it's already preset. There's nothing I can do about that. And I don't have a problem with that now. I did before, but now I have no problem whatsoever, you know. And there's a part of me that's like, when he calls me home, I'm really, really looking forward to that. But at the same point, I know this much. Christ was in the Garden of Gethsemane, and he even prayed to his Father, because he was the Word. He was the spoken word of his Father. And he said, if this cup be passed from my lips, but thy will be done. And what I understood when I read that was Christ understood why God called us. You know, we are his greatest achievement. And he speaks about that in his word. And Christ, being the Word coming to flesh, he got to experience what it was to be human, to be alive, to be in this world. And even him, he said, if this cup be passed from my lips, because the life that we live is God given. It's amazing, you know. You know what I mean?
We don't have any water. We're gonna have to get that thing.
Sorry for the interruption, Paul.
Oh, don't worry about it.
I'm on here. Yeah, I'm on here.
Yeah, so.
Yeah, water froze up and all the pipes busted, and we're on day 3 of fixing all of them. We fixed a bunch of pipes, and then we find more that are broken. It's like, ugh.
Yeah, it's been like from New Year's Eve until New Year's Day, and where I live, in 1 week, we got 9 feet of snow. Yeah, we got 9 feet of snow, and then the temperature dropped to below 0 for a week. It was really hard, and I actually went down to the basement and I wrapped all of the pipes to make sure that they wouldn't bust, because I knew it was coming, you know. And here we go with.
I know something else broke. 9 feet of snow
in a week.
We just got sub-zero weather.
Where's he at?
Yeah, where are you anyway?
I'm in Erie, Pennsylvania. It's the northwest corner of Pennsylvania. I'm in between New York and Ohio, right on Lake Erie. And yeah, we got 9 feet of snow in a week.
He's way up north.
Oh, not only did you get hit with the snow, you got hit with the lake effect snow too.
That's exactly what we got hit with.
You got your butt kicked.
Yeah, we got our butts heavily kicked.
Debbie just asked if you had snowshoes.
Oh, let me tell you what. I went out and my car was the first day I went out, the car was buried. Actually, Christmas Day, as I was driving out to my dad's house, I couldn't see 20 feet in front of the car. It was just blinding snow. And I got to my dad's house for Christmas, and I spent there for about 6-7 hours. And normally what's about a 20-minute trip from my dad's house to mine, it took me 2.5 hours to get home. And I had to stop 3 different times to clean the wipers off.
Like what? Do you have snowshoes?
Oh, yes. I got the snow boots, absolutely. And no, I didn't have snowshoes. I should have had snowshoes. Oh, let me make a comment real quick. Carl, you're absolutely right. There is no hate whatsoever in my soul. And I appreciate every single person that calls in to the show. Yeah, we've had a couple call-ins that that would blow your mind with the testimonies that they gave. And yeah, Dan Scarab, he actually called in and he gave his story 1.0. And he was supposed to call in last night for 2.0. So we're expecting him to show up to give his second testimony tonight.
Oh, really? Well,
Yeah.
you heard how him and Cooley sounded on the show, so he sounded like he was getting ready to fall over on his face. And Photo, I have no idea what was up with him. It sounded like he'd been hitting the whiskey bottle. I mean, he is from Tennessee.
There you go. No, he
I have no idea what was up with Photo. It was probably the worst broadcast they ever done. And I'm going to tell Dan that to his face when I go to Texas.
There you go.
Because I will find him. I will tell him that to his face. Like, Dan, that show you did it on the 20th was crap. What was that? Got in armor. I have apologized. You did everything you could to try to save the show, but Dan and Photo just killed it. They murdered it. Dan was off point, and Photo was, I'm not even going to say the words.
Well, I wouldn't say that they were hitting the whiskey, but I know from experience from doing videos for the past 3 or 4 years and doing live streams that there are nights when you're just off. I mean, it just happens, you know.
Yeah, tonight was that night.
Yeah, I was trying to call in to speak, but I couldn't get through, and I just let it go. I'm like, okay, I get it. That's cool, you know. I wasn't meant to be part of that show tonight. That's all fine.
I wanted to call in because I have to apologize to Dan for something I brought up, and I want to give Photo credit for because he's the one that actually got me into this to begin with. It was his bicycle ride that got me in to begin with, but I brought up something in the comment section on one of Dan's videos. He did a video on Revenge of the Jedi, which I had never heard of to begin with.
Yeah.
And he missed the very first Mandela effect in the entire thing. I noticed emblem did not look like the way it does. The THX.
Yes.
The T was not part of the upper bar. I mean, the T was not the upper bar. It was below the upper bar.
Absolutely.
It was THX with a bar above and below. In my reality. I don't know what it is in yours. But I have yet to find anything. I have watched the beginning of 300 DVDs and 400 movies.
It is not Revenge of the Jedi has returned.
I have yet to find the THX I remember. And I wanted to apologize to him for that. And Salty, Party Puppy, I see you both in the chat room. If you can get that message across the band, that'd be great.
See, now I did a video here recently on something that somebody brought to my attention. Now, mind you, you got to understand, I have a background in science, in quantum mechanics, in particle theory, in string theory. I literally do. I went to college on all this stuff. And what was brought up to me was about particle entanglement. And you do understand that particles are entangled. In other words, one particle is connected to another, and what you do to one particle instantly, and I mean instantly, happens to the other particle. But what people don't realize,
theory in quantum mechanics.
Right, in quantum mechanics, and the deal is this. But what people don't understand is one particle is not connected to just one other particle. Particles are entangled. There can be billions and trillions of other particles, subatomic particles. They're all connected together. So here's the deal, and I want you to think about this. What they're doing at CERN and the other LHCs that are around the world, when they're crashing these particles together and they're disintegrating a particle, what you do to one particle, you do to another. So if they're disintegrating two particles as they crash together, you're disintegrating trillions upon trillions of other particles instantly at the same time. And our macro world, the world we live in, is all built upon the subatomic world and the subatomic particles. So if you disintegrate trillions upon trillions of particles, every time you crash these things together, you absolutely, positively have to have an effect on our reality right now in the macro world, because you've reduced the number of particles that are all entangled. So how the rest of the particles that are still left over, how they entangle and how they connect to one another actually changes our reality. And that's based on science. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it absolutely is. I mean, I'm very familiar with what you're talking about. And if you destroy something in this dimension, you're going to destroy 19 billion plus dimensions. Why? It's all interconnected. We were fine until we had D-Wave. Now that we have D-Wave, now our dimensions are interconnected. As soon as D-Wave fired up in 2007, for the very first time, and all its function was banking. Really. Okay, you're building a computer just to sit there and crunch numbers for balancing a bank statement? Okay, I'm calling bull crap on that. But 2007 is when everything started going haywire. And, well, guess what? Now we have particle accelerators in places they weren't. Okay, they were building one in Dallas, Texas. I went there. I went to the particle accelerator in Dallas, Texas. I took a tour. It was under construction. The funding ran out, so they stopped building it. My parents were taking me on a science tour. You know, here I am. I'm 8 years old, and I'm programming computers. Well, I went to the Callaway County Nuclear Power Plant. I took a tour there. The only place I did not go into was the reactor. But I had a tour of the entire rest of the building. The whole plant, except for the reactor. I think my parents would have took me to Fermilab, which, according to history in this timeline, was an active particle accelerator. Within driving distance, I mean, we drove to Maine. We went to no, we didn't go to Maine. We bypassed Maine somehow. We wound up in Nova Scotia. We never made it to Maine. How you get to Nova Scotia without going to Maine, I don't know. I apologize to everybody from Maine. But, sorry, guys. I never made it to your state.
You know, it's, someone...
My parents would took me to Fermilab.
Fermilabs, absolutely.
They would have took me there. They're taking me to nuclear power plants. They're taking me to a particle accelerator that's still being built in Dallas. They're taking me to all these science places all over the place. And Fermilab, nope, never been there. Never heard of it. Just found out about it 2 weeks ago. But I'm going, what the hell is this shit?
See, everything that I did, I was constantly looking at CERN as being the complete culprit. And like Photo turned me on to Fermilabs and a few others. And I was like, okay. And then when I ran across that theory about someone, I knew this, but I didn't catch it until someone actually said this, was through quantum entanglement. When you destroy one particle, whatever particle is entangled to that particle, they also get destroyed. And because our reality, our macro world, is comprised of all of the subatomic particles, you absolutely, positively have to have a change in our reality. There's no way you can't. It's like trying to bake a cake, and if you could bake a cake and then go in and remove half the ingredients of that cake is no longer the same cake as what you baked. And that's what's happening in our reality. And Scripture speaks about this.
I'm going to blow your mind. I'm going to blow your mind real quick.
Go ahead, everybody's listening, man. Speak up.
Whenever you destroy something, you create something else. That's part of Newton's base core law of physics.
Right.
That's part of Einstein's laws of relativity. We could take two atoms, smash them together, and destroy them, and break them down to their base particles. Now, what have we created at the same time? And I think what we create with these particle accelerators is what's screwing with our timelines.
That's the point that I was making. With the leftover particles, because energy, you cannot destroy energy. It goes on. It transforms. And whatever these particles that are left, how they entangle, they re-entangle, changes our reality. And that's what we're looking at right now. And of course, those that don't see the changes think I'm a nut, and that's all fine. I'm cool with that.
We were both saying the same exact thing, but just in two different ways. That way, more people can understand what we're saying.
Absolutely.
I'm in total agreement with you on that. I mean, a butterfly flapping its wings in Brazil is going to cause a hurricane. It's going to come in and wipe out, South Florida. That's reactionary theory.
You got it.
I can go into full detail on it, but I don't need to. I'm pretty sure all of our listeners are really good at figuring this out.
Okay, I want to fill you in on something real quick. Normally, what I do in my channel um, is when I reach around an hour and 15 minutes, everybody stays in the live chat, everybody stays in the channel, but I shut the live stream down and I let it upload to the channel as a separate live stream. And once it's completely uploaded, I restart the live stream. So um, if you get disconnected from the live stream, if you're in the live chat and you're talking away and you don't see the live stream started, I make a comment into the live chat saying, "Hey, the live stream has been restarted." And if you don't see it, you need to refresh your browser or reopen a new tab showing, so that you're back live with the live stream. So I'm gonna shut this down right now and let it upload to the channel so that anybody that views the live streams after it's post live stream, they're not watching a 5-6 hour live stream. They're watching 1 hour, 1 hour little bits of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm gonna shut this down here now in about a minute and let it load up to the channel, and then we'll restart the live stream. So, brother, I am so glad you called in. I really appreciate everything you had to say, and man, you had some very, very important stuff to tell us, man. I really appreciate it.
Man, I appreciate you letting me call in and talk to you again.
Oh, absolutely. Anytime, man. Anytime whatsoever.
And next time I call in, I promise everybody in the chat I will make it shorter. That way somebody else can call in because I felt like I hoarded it.
Oh,
I feel like a heel now.
You spoke.
I had no idea.
You spoke what you were supposed to speak because the Holy Spirit told you to tell us this. You know what I mean?
And there's so much more to talk about. There's so much more. We haven't even scratched the surface.
Absolutely not. All right, man. Let me let you go, and let me shut this live stream down so I can let it upload to the channel. And like I said, we're here 7 days a week. On Saturday night, we come on late because I'm over at Scarab's channel on his live stream.
Yep, I seen you over there.
Absolutely, brother,
I seen
man.
you over there.
All right, you have a good night, and we will talk to you here very shortly.
May God be with you.
You
and
too,
may
my
God
brother.
be with the entire community in the chat.
All right, good night, man.
That
All right, everyone. You heard what the man said, and he actually runs. He's one of the people that take the calls on the suicide hotline, and that is like how awesome, you know. So I'm gonna shut this live stream down. Nobody go anywhere. Stay in the live chat. If you're not in the live chat and you're just watching, don't go anywhere. All I'm going to do is I'm going to shut the live stream down so it uploads to my channel. And once it's uploaded, I will restart the live stream. And if you don't see the live stream, I will put a comment into the live chat saying we're live again. And if you're not seeing the live stream, do a refresh or open up a new tab. And with that, peace, my brothers and sisters. We'll talk very, very shortly.